Justin MacLeod is a sound designer who relies on NVDA to access his computer. Before he tells us what that involves, he has set us a little challenge. Justin has disguised NVDA with various vocal processors. There is a sample phrase inserted in several places. See if you can guess which synthesizer he is using. Stay tuned for the answer, and I should add, the sound effects are Justin's, but I added the backing music and edited the interview. Justin MacLeod, thank you for joining us.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Now, Justin, tell us about what you do.
So I'm a sound designer, which means that I record, create, and arrange sound effects for various purposes. Either I compile sound effects for distribution for other people to use, or I arrange them in audio dramas for media like games and so on. It's quite a diverse job, which I really like, and I'm often on the go. Take my laptop here, there, and everywhere. Also socialize on a number of Team Talk servers, read a lot. Basically, I use my computer for everything. I play on my computer, I work on my computer, I connect with other people on my computer, and so obviously a screen reader is a really important part of that.
So you use NVDA. How long have you been using NVDA for?
I've been using NVDA I think for 5-6 years now. I used to use Window Eyes, and they changed it in huge ways. It felt to me like learning a new screen reader, and I wasn't really liking it. I was struggling with it, so I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to switch to NVDA because it's free and it's there. And that's one of the things I really like about NVDA. It's really easy to get on your computer when you're starting up. I think this is one of the things that I like most about NVDA, is it is very hard to break and very easy to recover. By which I mean, if your system crashes, if you press Ctrl-Alt-N, I love that NVDA will always come back, which I've never had with a screen reader that I've used before. So it's got great kind of get out of trouble resilience, which I really enjoy. I also like, and I think maybe you fixed this even better in the latest update, I also like, and I'm doing this very frequently in my work, how if you change your default sound device, or if you do something unexpected with your sound device configuration, again, you can get NVDA back. Perhaps NVDA leaps off to a place that doesn't have output to a thing you can hear. Happens to be quite often, but with a simple Ctrl-Alt-N, and I think there's another keystroke you can do as well, reverting to the stored configuration.
NVDA Control-R.
Yeah, I see. I thought it was that. I thought it was NVDA-R, NVDA Controller. I love how it'll be right back in your headphones, and I have noticed that when I change my sound device since the NVDA update, it doesn't even get confused. It doesn't even break at all. So I love NVDA's resilience. I think that is absolutely essential, because once your screen reader stops, your whole access to the machine breaks. It could be something as simple as you need to press OK, or you need to press M process. But if you are deprived of your screen reader, then the computer's as good as dead. And for a similar reason, I like that NVDA is right there on the Windows login screen as well. I never had that before. So it really, I can bounce back from trouble. And I get myself in a lot of trouble. So loving NVDA for that.
Excellent. That's great to hear. Thank you. Now, Justin, as well as getting yourself out of trouble with NVDA, you teach others as well.
So I also, when I'm not sound designing, I teach So I teach Reaper, which is a multi-track audio editor and sequencer. I teach that both in one-to-one settings and in group settings. Used to be an instructor for the Cisco Academy for the Vision Impaired, which means actually I've been using NVDA I think even longer than I said. And you can route it very easily, as I kind of just alluded to whatever audio device you want, and so I can route it to an audio device that everyone can hear. And that's really invaluable, because then people can not only hear what you're explaining and hear the results of what you're doing, the sounds you're creating or what you're editing, etc., but they can also hear the speech feedback you get as you proceed through those steps. And so I do find that versatility an invaluable kind of demonstration tool. I have also been known to use eSpeak as a way of demonstrating how good certain vocal processors are. So one project I was working on was to disguise eSpeak's voice with various vocal processors and see if people could guess that it was in fact eSpeak. So that was kind of fun.
That's right, it was eSpeak that Justin had disguised. How did you go? Did you guess it, or could you not pass?
You shall not pass.
We have our big yearly NVDACON online conference coming up this weekend, between the 4th and the 6th of December, depending on your time zone. Justin, you're going to be a part of that. Tell us more.
So I'll be showing you a bit of my workflow, how I edit using NVDA, and how I find my way around Reaper. There are various things, I don't want to give away too much, but there are various little tricks that are, in my experience of screen readers anyway, pretty unique to NVDA and very easy to toggle. The way it monitors progress bars, for instance, is really useful. Because NVDA reads meters in some sound level meters as progress bars, and so the higher the beep, the louder the incoming sound, or the higher something is jumping, or indeed the higher the percentage value spoken, depending on how you have things set. And there are some really useful applications for that people might not have thought of.
Sounds fantastic. I always like finding new software tips. We do endeavour to make NVDA's interface as simple to navigate as possible, but also to offer customization and flexibility for those, like yourself, who do like to tweak things.
And it is really nice to have that flexibility, and just the way that you can access that. Just control NVDA-S and mess around in dialogues, and you're pointing NVDA to this device and that device and picking this synthesizer, that synthesizer. And what I love is, for each synthesizer, the changes that you make to rate and volume per speech engine, they stick. Even if you don't have to save this and save that, they just stick. It's all, they all talk to the speech engine settings nicely, so I can set to this and it's nice and slow for people to hear, and I can set to that and it's nice and quick, or it's nice and quiet for me. So it's very quick, it's very responsive, it's very light on resources. It does a lot of things, a lot of different things that I need it to do very quickly. I think you've done a really good job with the interface. I think it is customizable, but I think that customizability is tucked away. But I love how there's shortcuts for most of the important things. I love adjusting, the punctuation level and things like that. It's really, really useful. So that's pretty. I like how all the minutiae, and there are quite a lot of minutiae. I love how that's all tucked away. At the end of the day, I feel like a screen reader should be like breathing and your heart beating. I feel like almost you really shouldn't notice it. It should just be your window to the world without being fancy, without kind of drawing attention to itself, which is actually, interestingly, often what a sound designer is trying to do. If someone listens to a film and says, "Hey, that's a great sound effect, I wonder how they made that," then the sound designer has actually kind of failed, because it should be seamlessly integrated into the experience, and I think a good screen reader is that as well. And I think NVDA does that really well. So what I also like about NVDA is the add-ons that third-party developers can make, and I think by far the most useful one for me is NVDA Remote, which is sort of the NVDA community's answer to TeamViewer, and that is really good when one of my students gets into trouble. I can just like nip into their machine quickly and fix stuff. So it's a remote access solution like TeamViewer, like Tandem, like, you know, the remote access stuff that comes for sighted people bundled with your machine. And people have nipped into my machine as well and fixed stuff. And that is a really good way of, especially in this age of social distancing and when the world is getting smaller anyway, it's a really good way if you're stuck and if you can't get out, or if you don't have people that can help you nearby, or if you don't want to pay $250 to get your local computer dealer to fix stuff. If you trust the person you're remoting with, it's a really good way to get yourself back up and running quickly.
It certainly is. Justin, where can we find your work?
You can find me on Twitter at SkyCladSound. That's my brand name. I did some of the sound design for Audio Wizards, so if you want a flavour of my work in context, then check that out. I'm also soundcloud.com/SkyCladSound. If you're more interested in tuition, if you'd like to do some of this stuff yourself, if you're an up-and-coming musician, if you want to make podcasts, if you want to make sound effects, etc., you'll find me a frequent poster on the Reapers Without Peepers list. I also frequently contribute to Zapsplat, writing both blog articles. Not written a blog article for a while, but I've written a lot of blog articles on there. That's a place where you can get very affordable professional sound effects, and there are some of my sound effects up there in the author section under SkyClad Sound, and indeed under Justin MacLeod, where before I got my brand. So I'm kind of scattered all over the place, but you will find me.
You are everywhere. Thank you. Well, Justin MacLeod, it's been great to speak with you. Don't forget to join into NVDACON on Team Talk this weekend. I've put the links below. If you go to nvdacon.org and then the 2020 program and schedule link, you'll find all of the session times, including Justin's, conveniently presented in your local time zone.
Looking forward to it. See you there.
Thanks, Justin. See you there.